This is the plaintiff, Lee. He says he rented a room the defendants, who were brokers, found for him. Turns out the room was illegal. All the defendants had to say about it is take them to court. So guess what? He's suing for $3,225 for the return of the broker's fee and rent. These are the defendants, Jasmine Marshall and Selwyn Harwood. Jasmine says the plaintiff started some trouble with another tenant in the building, and that person got a restraining order against him. Then, the plaintiff got arrested and went to jail and had to move out. She certainly doesn't owe him any money and is pretty sure the judge will agree. They're accused of rotten renting.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket, the plaintiff says the defendant rented him an illegal crib. But the defendant says the plaintiff is your garden variety troublemaker to the point one of the tenants got a restraining order against him. It's the case of restrain yourself.
Okay. Lee, you've asked to be referred to only by your first name.
Yes.
You are suing Jasmine Marshall and Selwyn, is it Harwood?
Harwood.
For $3,225 in broker fee plus rent, because you're the landlord and you were the broker on the case, plus pain and suffering. Okay, is the hat religious or is it a style statement? Okay.
Religious.
Are the glasses prescription?
No, ma'am.
Okay, I prefer that you take off your glasses. I like to look into the whites of people's eyes when they're talking to me. Thank you. Okay, so what happened here?
First, I went to her office asking for her services to find me a room rental. She found me a room rental. I moved in.
Okay, and that was where?
In Brooklyn.
How much did you pay her in broker fee?
I paid her $325.
$25? Does that sound right?
No.
How much did he pay you?
$150.
$150?
Yes.
Do you have the paperwork?
Yes.
Do you have paperwork that proves that it was $325?
I paid her 2 weeks worth of
Can I just see proof of what you paid her? She's disputing at the amount you said.
I don't have all my receipts. I had to move my stuff out.
Okay, Lee, I just need proof of the things you say in court. That's how every case works.
Right.
Okay, so she has handed me a receipt made out to you that says what you paid her was $150. And do you have any other evidence to contradict that?
No.
No. Okay. All right. So you pay her whatever fee. You move in. You're living there for 3 months, and something bad happens. And what's that?
I got into a dispute.
Who's living there, by the way?
One family lives on the first, second family lives on the top, and the rooms are being rented in the middle floor.
Oh, do you live below or above?
I'm renting a room on the second floor.
Is there a kitchen on the second floor? Yeah. Okay. So go on.
So I moved in, and a gentleman next door, he offers to rent me a cable box for $30 a month. So I rent the cable box on the 8th of March. The following month, he came to me on the 1st and said that he wants the payment. And I told him he's a week early. I rented on the 8th. I'll pay you on the 8th. He was kind of upset, but he let it go. And then the second month, he came again, and I told him to wait till the 8th. On June 5th, he came for a third time, and he was more aggravated that I told him, that I'll give him the payment on the 8th. So he entered into my room, and he went toward the cable box, saying he wants his cable box now. He don't want to rent it to me anymore. So we got into a quarrel, and I wound up getting him out my room, closed the door.
How'd you get him out of your room?
I pushed him out of the room. He wouldn't close the door, so I wound up just disconnecting the cable box and just giving him the cable box, closing the door, and then getting dressed for work. I left for work.
What do you do?
I'm a union carpenter, and sometimes family members have me do work at their home. Okay. So anyway, I went to work, and I also belong to a clergy council. On my way to work, I called one of the ministers, and I told him what happened. So he went to the house to make sure everything was all right. He said that the tenant, the roommate, he called the police. The minister then told me, my colleague told me that the guy's he's trying to get you arrested. He vowed that he was gonna put you in jail.
I see a restraining order though. When did he get a restraining order against you?
I'm getting to that right now. Okay, to speed it up, on a Monday, which was the 11th of June, I went into the kitchen. My food was going out of the cabinet. So I knocked on his door and asked him if he knew what happened to my food. And he cursed me out. He yelled and screamed that he's not security and all this other. I said, okay, no problem. So I went into the freezer and I went and got some frozen chicken wings. I got a knife and started separating the chicken wings. He came out of his room and he got into an argument with me. And I told him, look, leave me alone. I don't want nothing to do with you. I had the knife separating the chicken wings when I said, leave me alone. He smiled, looked at the knife, went downstairs, left the doors open and called the police.
And said you pulled a knife out on him?
Said I threatened him with a knife.
Okay, you ended up moving out, right?
Right.
Okay, and your lawsuit is about asking her to pay back her broker fee, whatever it may have been, and him to refund your rent that you paid while you were there, and for both of them to pay you almost $1,000 in pain and suffering. What'd they do wrong? Sounds like you and this guy have big problems. Either you pulled a knife out on him or you didn't, and he's a jerk and a fraud. But what did they do wrong?
Okay. After I was released from the court the following day, I had to get an escort to come and get some of my property from my room. The police officer who escorted me looked and said, this is an illegal rental. Get your rent back from this place. This is not legal.
Well, that's not the law, though. You don't get your rent back that is in the past,
Right.
but you don't have to pay rent in the future if the person's not allowed to collect rent. Do you have this thing like quartered off in a way that's illegal?
What happened is this. I have a cousin of mine who was renting his apartment building, right?
Not one word.
Okay,
Let's slow down.
let me explain.
So is a landlord responsible to a tenant if another tenant in the building is a troublemaker and causes damage?
100% not.
Why?
Because if you're responsible enough to rent from someone, then you should be responsible enough to handle your.
So it's the tenant who's responsible, not the landlord.
Yeah.
Got your point. Going inside the courtroom.
It's a two-family.
Right.
Second floor is an apartment.
Yes, and then there's bedrooms and a bathroom and a kitchen on the first floor. And then there's bedrooms and a bathroom and a kitchen on the third floor. That's a three-family home, not a two-family home,
No,
right?
there's an attic. It's a legal two-family. It's an attic.
So
His
probably the
his
attic is illegal.
His son lives upstairs.
You're
His
not
son lives in
renting
the
out
attic.
the attic. Is it true that's his son in the attic?
From what I know.
Okay, all right, gotcha. If you're not renting out the top one, then I'm not worried about more than, quote, two families
right,
living
right,
there.
right.
All right. You said something else in your complaint. You said that this fellow who you had the problem with was known for having a violent tendency. But the only person who's been either rightfully, because you admit it, by pushing him out, or wrongfully, because you say you were just cutting chicken, accused of violence is you, not that guy. So what is it she's supposed to have known and therefore shouldn't have rented you the place?
Well, the other roommate that lives there, he works at nighttime, and he also said that he had problems with this guy.
Do you have that person here as a witness?
No,
Do you
I'm not
have
able
an
to go back to
affidavit
the
from
place.
that person?
So I wasn't able to get in contact with the other gentleman. But also, several times when I was on the phone, in my room and in the kitchen, the landlord eavesdrops. And I called him downstairs. He didn't know I was looking, and he was like, listening. I said, what are you doing? And he jumped in.
Why are you
Come
scaring
on,
him?
you know.
Okay, well, you have said absolutely nothing in all of
Right.
this time that would put me in a position of saying, hey, you people, pay him $3,000.
Okay.
Not a single thing, not one
Okay.
thing. You lived somewhere, you had a problem with somebody, you had some problems with the law, you have a restraining order against you, and you ended up having to move out. You want money you paid in the past to live there given back to you, and you want her to return her broker's fee, and you want both of them to pay you because you've had pain and you've suffered.
Right.
Yeah, no. Verdict for the
All right.
defendants.
I have my evidence of it.
Well, the verdict comes in all of a sudden there, and so you're out in the hallway here on the losing end of this case. What's your thought on that?
Well, she didn't let me produce the rest of my evidence. She asked me what happened. And of course, me expressing what happened, I didn't get to produce my evidence.
Well, it was
Just
just
illegal rental, and a broker rented me a room in a legal rental. As far as what the rules state in HPD, that a place is supposed to be registered. It wasn't registered. I have the evidence, and I'm supposed to get my rent back.
all right. Well, the documents are waiting around the corner. See what happens.
See what happens there. Okay, so step on in here. What's the problem? I don't know. What's funny?
I don't know. Well, I mean, I think that I don't know why he would want. He's suing me for the whole rent, and it's not. I didn't collect the rent. I just collected the broker's fee, which he lives there, and I thought.
Well, the judge says his problems were not your fault.
Exactly.
So he's going after the wrong person.
Oh, so it's not my fault. I didn't do anything.
That's what the judge said. All right, Harvey.
So here's the deal. If a tenant in a building is a troublemaker, the landlord is not responsible for what that tenant does to other tenants. The tenant can sue, one tenant can sue the other. The landlord is not responsible unless that other tenant really poses a serious health or safety risk. In that case, the landlord has some duty to stop it.